David?
We did not.
Okay.
Why am I not seeing the record button for Zoom?
It just popped up on
Oh, here it is. Record to the cloud. Okay, I got
my
it.
screen.
Okay, we are good whenever Aaron joins.
Okay, I'll start through the administrative items if that's okay.
Yeah.
So welcome to the January 17th, 2023 meeting of the City of Charleston's Design Review Board. My name is Erica Chase, the board's chairperson, and the members with us tonight are Ben Whitener, Aaron Stevens, and Ashley Jackrell. Members of city staff are David Meeks. We do not have any board members that are recused from any of the agenda items, nor do we have any letters from the public submitted for tonight's meeting, and no one has signed up to speak. The agenda item number 3 has withdrawn from the meeting, so we will not be hearing that item. The order of the meeting will be as follows. David will give an introduction and a project overview for the projects. Then the project presentation will be made by the applicant team. That is typically limited to 10 minutes. So if you need time well beyond that, please let us know at the start of your presentation. We will then open up the meeting for board comments. Board questions. I'm going to skip over anything related to public comments since we have none tonight. David will then give the city's recommendations. Then the applicant may respond or clarify to the city staff comments. We will then enter board discussion and a motion and a vote. During board discussion, the applicant team may not speak unless it's to clarify inaccurate information being stated or if recognized by myself or one of the board members. If everyone could just keep yourselves on mute if you are not speaking, and silence any devices that may make noise in the background. So with that, we will get started with agenda item number 1, 813 DuPont Road, requesting demolition approval for a single-story family home over 50 years of age.
Thank you, Erica. This is David Meeks with DRB. Just a brief introduction of the location of the project. If you could see the map, 813 DuPont Road. It sits near the intersection of DuPont and Dulce in West Ashley. Here's a closer view. So this parcel used to be a mobile home park starting in the 1950s, we believe. Here's a closer view with the actual outline, and the structure in question is right where the red thumbtack is. It was built in approximately 1855, and here's a view from around 2014, before all the mobile homes were removed. And this is the structure in question, requesting demolition. And just a few views from back when it was still a mobile home park, and a closer view of the home when it was a little more cleared out. You could see it better than today. And then this is more like 2011 when most of the mobile homes were still intact on the site. This is on Dulce Road. And then here's the site plan, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Palacios. If you'd like to jump in, we're ready for you.
Hi, my name is Jim Palacios. I'm requesting demolition of that home. It's in the way of the project. The curb cut should come in the driveway, would come right through it. There's no other way to get around it. This house has been abandoned now for at least 8 or 9 years. I have it boarded up. It's been overtaken by the homeless or vagrants or whatever. I don't know who they were multiple times. As you can see these pictures here, we've boarded it up numerous times, and they pulled the boarding off, the plywood off. So this time we went back and we put about 100 screws in every piece of plywood with a screw head that you could not back up with a regular tool. It's a special tool. So this is what it's come to. Just need it to go because it's in the way of the project that I'd like to do. And also, by the same token, I've already told the city of Charleston, well, I told Eric Coleman that might have some excess property for a situation that they have for a motor pool, because they're renting from me right now on the large site, which is where the old Hyundai dealership is. And I think I have enough room for them to have an identical amount of space, if not a little more, for the motor pool, because they're at a impasse right now. From what I understand, they have nowhere to go once I start developing the other large site. So that's my story. But it's even the police have gone in there with me a couple of times. They refuse to get out. They had to call in reinforcements to get them out of there. So that's about all I have to say, I guess. And you can ask me any questions. I'll be trying to answer them. But I do believe it's been vacant for at least 8 to 9 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
What's the question?
No.
Oh, okay.
With none, David, staff comments, please.
Thank you. 1 second. Just getting my glasses and my eyeballs on. So some staff observations first. The structure at 813 DuPont was built in approximately 1940. The property was used as a mobile home park. DuPont Road, Shady Grove, dating back to the 1950s, based on aerial imagery. The mobile home park was still operating until at least 2011 and dismantled sometime after this date, based on Google Street View. The structure has been vacant since the mobile home park was removed. The site was designated in the DuPont WAPU plan as a special district job center for future development, and this is also reflected in the recently completed city plan. The area has transitioned from being residential to a location that supports job creation and commercial activity. The surrounding parcels have been turned into commercial uses, including retail, banking, hospitality, and light manufacturing. Staff comment number 1, the ordinance that discusses demolition in the purview of the Design Review Board states that the board should consider the following: architectural and aesthetic features of the structure, the nature and quality of the structure, including its architectural fabric, any historical significance, the nature and quality of the surrounding area, and the structure's contribution to the overall streetscape of the area. Staff recognizes the building is a vernacular cottage typical of the area of this period, but we do feel the structure has little architectural merit or aesthetic value and is of no historical significance. Staff comment 3, staff has studied the surrounding area and finds that the area is mostly commercial with very little residential fabric left. Number 4, it does appear that the front porch was added at a later date. And for all these reasons, staff does approve of and support the demolition.
Thanks, David. Does the applicant team have anything they want to respond to or clarify? Okay. We are now in board discussion.
I personally, Madam Chair, I can see you. I personally agree with everything that staff recommends. I went by there. The site is gorgeous. The live oaks are amazing, fantastic. So that's what I would ask moving forward. I know we're not doing that, but we definitely need to try to save those live oaks. I know, but no, the building itself is. I agree. The architectural merit and the scale. It's the streetscape. Right across from it, there's another trailer. I remember. I mean, I live half a mile from this on Piper, so I drive by this site a lot. I agree that it should be allowed to be demolished. That's it. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff's been replaced. You could tell the siding's not original. The brick at the water below the water table, it's not original. Porch is not original. Could probably say more things. The railing's not original. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Would you like to form a motion, Ben?
Sure. Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion for approval of demolition of
Thanks, Ben.
813 DuPont Road.
We have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Ashley. Any further discussion? With none, I'll call a roll. Aaron?
Yes, in favor.
I am also yes in favor. All right, we will move on to agenda item number 2, 1521 Savannah Highway, requesting preliminary approval for a new car dealership building.
Thank you. We've seen this project. It was a while ago. But it's where the old IHOP used to be. I don't have any context maps or anything. So Billy, if you're ready, you can jump right in.
Thanks, David. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
David, can you start on L100 sheets, the last of the landscape sheet? So basically, I'm just going to kind of go through the comments from the last project, or the last time we presented it to you all. Let's see here.
Sorry, it's going kind of slow.
It's okay. It's a big file.
This is all the files combined too.
Yeah.
You went past it.
Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry. DRB.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
L,
just
the
before
landscape.
DRB numbers.
Okay, sorry. I was looking for a landscape sheet. Starting here.
One more
One
behind.
more back, one
Oh.
more.
There we go. Excellent.
Did pass it.
Thank
Sorry.
All right, so just to kind of orient everyone, the top of the page, Savannah Highway, we have Markfield Drive on the plan left side. The site was it was a fire station on the right-hand side of the site, and then the left-hand side of the site was the old IHOP. So the owner has combined those two into one site. It is for a higher-end car dealership use. We've worked with DOT, we actually eliminated any access from Savannah Highway. We're actually going to go through the Porsche site to be able to get into the access from Savannah Highway, as well as using Markfield and the light there to help control and just make it a little bit safer access into the site. We've through the TRC process, we've added pervious pavers as well as underground retention on the site, which you can see in those big boxes in the middle. And going over some of the comments, comment one was you guys asked us to restudy the location of the front sidewalk from Savannah Highway. So we have shifted that over and aligned that more towards the entrance of the building, which is that kind of angled entry, which is covered with a canopy there. So it just kind of better aligns with the approach, so the pedestrians access onto the site. The comment two was to study the landscape palette and to make it more native to the area. I have Earth Source Engineering is on the call as well. They have revised the palette to make that more native landscaping. And then comment three was we had a long retaining wall, or not retaining wall, site wall that was along Savannah Highway to help kind of block some of the views of the cars. It's a low wall. And so it was asked of us to kind of break that up and make more of a rhythm out of that. So we've done that as well, so that we still allow some views to the vehicles, but we're also still using it as a screen to mask them at the same time. And then David, if you could go to, sorry, I'm going to make you shift around some pages. If you could go to like four pages forward, so it'd be DRB 4, and that's going to be the elevations. So the floor plan itself hasn't changed at all. All we've done from the previous is we've just further developed this, which you'll see in our wall sections. We've incorporated structure, mechanical systems, things like that. So we actually are now kind of honing this in and making this more accurate. One of the comments was to study the signage being incorporated onto the building. We have removed a lot of the signage at this point. We were within the guidelines. You can see the allowable table on the lower right-hand side from our previous one, but we know that this is reviewed in a future phase, so we'd rather just remove that from this aspect, and we can address that when that's needed, when this final signage is selected. We've also revised in the south elevation. You can see the previous concept. We have a louver for a mechanical system that's in a well on the second floor. We have revised that to allow more airflow into that. It is on the rear side of the building and will be screened. So that way we are screening any mechanical equipment. And the other comment was we on the front entrance, we are incorporating all lighting into the site lighting and building lighting into the actual canopy itself. We added a new canopy at the rear so that we carry this design language throughout the building, and it's not going to be just some applied wall packs or anything like that. If you could go one more page. So you can see here the revised elevations. It's very similar to the previous proposal. You can see the dashed line where now the mechanical system well is. It's a little bit larger than it was before. Next elevation, please. And then on this side as well, you can see it's very similar to what we had before. We had a vehicle entry on this side, and on the other side, we actually got rid of the one that's on this side. We felt like with the entrance, we wanted to keep it as clean as possible with this frameless butt glazing that we're showing for the curtain wall. One more. Okay, so if we actually, can you go to DRB 12? So just talking about the materiality is the same as we had in the previous concept, where we have ACM metal panels and this kind of two-tone offer. It's very monochromatic. So we have this kind of white, silvery white panel that will go around the building that kind of gives the form of the building, and then anything beyond that is kind of the puncturing and the it's the inverse of that. So that way that silvery form stands out nice and strong, and the other structure, everything else is contrasting that. So there's a nice dialogue between those two. You can see how the metal panels are actually curved, so that way they curve and become soffit, which then becomes integrated lighting. Again, just trying to, the original concept was looking at how a lot of these high-end cars are put together. So the idea is everything is thought through. There's nothing is just added on. It's, things are being integrated into one another, and it's purposeful. Next slide. Next one. There we go. Yeah. So these are the perspectives and how it looks in its current iteration. So this is a view from Savannah Highway looking back at the building. And this is kind of, you can see how like the grayish black ACM metal and columns, and then also the glass without any mullions. It just kind of has a very jewel box feel to it. And it feels like it's not even there. And really you just have this kind of floating silver structure, which accents all the cars that are displayed inside. Next slide. And so this is from Markfield Drive. So it's right from that corner. And the landscaping isn't representative of what's actually there. This was just some artistic freedom for the renderings of this. And then this is of that covered area with the angled entry. And then from the front, you can actually see how that glass form is actually stepped back. So as you walk from Savannah Highway onto the site, you can come to this covered entry and actually interact with the building before even going inside. And with that, I'll leave it for any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I had one question, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ben.
The west elevation, David, could you go to that elevation? And not that it's bad. I just had a question. That one there. Yeah. So in the, just wondering why the 2-panel storefront was changed to 3-panel, and it's not aligning with the main opening, I guess, of the main display window or the jewel box, however you called it. I was just curious why that changed.
So originally in the previous proposal, it was in the stairwell, and that aligned kind of with the floor level of the stairwell. When we looked back at it and we had some different functions, there was an office space as well as that was in there. We had to deal with ceiling heights and things like that. So that's actually going to be a spandrel panel in the middle, and then you'll have clear up in the bottom. So I wanted to play with that and minimize it as much as possible to actually make that work.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? David, city staff recommendations, please.
Thank you, Erica. Staff observations. All the staff and board comments have been addressed since the last DRB meeting, except the raising of the crosswalk directly in front of the building. This was not addressed due to the low ride of the cars that will be sold on the site, which staff can accept. Staff comment number 1, staff would like to see 2 more sections of the wall on Markfield Drive. Actually, I'm gonna go back to the site or landscape plan. Sorry. So we're suggesting 2 more sections of wall on Markfield. So possibly one right here, and then another one on this side of the drive. And if it could actually bend on the corner at the property line and kind of wrap around and come to about this point to screen views into the parking from people traveling south on Markfield. Excuse me. Staff comment number 2, provided detail for the traffic signpost used on site. I didn't see one in the set. DRB requires an ornamental post square around painted black, but we do recommend preliminary approval with final review by staff.
Thanks, David. Does the applicant team have anything they'd like to clarify or respond to?
No, I mean, we appreciate the comments. I like the idea of adding the site wall at the on the plan south and kind of wrapping that around. I think that makes a lot of sense and kind of, terminating the site. I would ask that we could keep that corner open just because it allows that view into the site and it is going to be a landscaped corner. So the idea is like to be able to get a better view into and at the building. I don't know if that's something
Staff would be okay with that since they're okay with the south corner.
Thank you.
But I'll let the board answer.
Okay, thanks. We are now in board discussion.
This is Erin speaking. I'm pretty much in agreement with staff's opinion and appreciate the plant palette being adjusted to be more native, but I would like to request that the use of the evergreen miscanthus be restudied because there's a lot of, it's a potentially invasive species and there's a lot of native grass alternatives that could be used instead. So that's the only issue I see with the new planting plan.
Thanks, Erin.
I am, Madam Chair, can I speak?
Of course.
I'm in agreement with the applicant for the wall as well at the corner there. Honestly, for me, I think it would be safer too. I mean, I know we're not getting into that, but that's kind of a busy corner. Our office used to be down Markfield, but I think the building itself, I'll let others speak to the landscape, but the building itself has seen a lot of development, and I think it'll be a really nice addition to that corner and to West Ashley. I think we need to see more buildings like this in West Ashley. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Thanks, Ben. Any other comments or motion?
I'll make a motion if there are no other comments. I'll make a motion for preliminary approval with staff comments 1 and 2 and board comment. Erin, you might need to help me on this. Restudy the evergreen.
The miscanthus.
Miscanthus.
Could I say something? You may want to alter staff comment.
Oh, yes.
Number 1.
let's alter staff comment number 1 to delete the requirement for the additional wall at the corner of Markfield and Savannah Highway.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I understand the board comments. Aaron, could you help me out with the landscape comment? Was it fine to substitute for that species?
Yes,
Okay. And what was the species again?
it was the evergreen miscanthus.
Okay. So we have a motion for preliminary approval with staff comments 1 and 2, modifying staff comment 1 to delete the requirement for the additional wall section, and board comment to find a substitute for the evergreen miscanthus. Is that
I would-
correct? Aaron?
I would think delete the additional wall section
At
at the corner, but
Intersection.
at the intersection, but leave the south facing additional wall section.
Okay, understood. And thank you for clarifying. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Ashley. Any further discussion? With none, I'll call roll. Aaron,
Yes, in favor.
and then I am also yes in favor.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
I think we have
need to-
meeting minutes, correct,
Meeting
David?
minutes.
Yeah, I'm getting to the end here. Yes, it's only for the, let's see, the 11 the November minutes. I believe I have this incorrect on the agenda. I apologize. There should have been 2 sets of meetings minutes in your Dropbox folder, and I'll tell you in 2 seconds if I can ever get to it. Gosh. Well, I guess I don't have it here.
November 2nd that we're doing tonight.
Yes, please.
Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from November 7th, 2022?
So moved.
Thank you, Ashley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ben. Any further discussion? Aaron,
Yes, in favor.
I am also yes in favor.
Thank you, everyone.
That was a
Thanks,
lot
guys.
shorter than I think we all anticipated as of about an hour ago. So awesome. Thank
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah,
Good job,
thank you,
guys.
everybody.
Okay,
Bye.
thank y'all. Bye.
Great evening.
Bye, you too.